fever for a lifetime. Minnesota United score in Major League Soccer. It's historic, euphoric, iconic. Goal scoring now added to the resume of Colin Warner. A cracker against New England. A similar strike today would be most welcome. Matchday 5 in Major League Soccer, and a game at the peak of priority for Minnesota United and Real Salt Lake. After a string of setbacks, tonight's focus falls to TCF Bank Stadium, where a contest full of thrills and spills is expected. A win for either side could turn their season around. It's Major League Soccer from the Twin Cities. A sumptuous setting for soccer, and the Twin Cities is ready. 64 degrees, gorgeous. Yes, indeed, a big day in Major League Soccer. Callum Williams, Kindred St Albin and Jemmy Watson, your commentary team. Two new sparkling loons for Minnesota United. Sam Cronin and Mark Birch, of course, were added to Minnesota United's roster yesterday. Mohamed Saeed and Josh Gadd going the other way to Colorado Rapids, Kendra.
Well, we clearly wish Mohamed Saeed and Josh Gadd the best in their new endeavors, but Minnesota United very happy to have these two new additions. Sam Cronin, the 30-year-old, he was a captain for Colorado. He's a holding midfielder. It's his 9th season in MLS. You can see a sturdy holding midfielder that can hold down the fort and also distribute, but really help organize with Colin Warner. And then Mark Birch, also 12th season MLS, a clear amount of MLS experience, and again another sturdy, very solid player. 2016 he had 27 games started and over 2,400 minutes played, so huge additions and a beautiful left foot, might I add, that we saw when we played Colorado just a couple weeks ago.
Jamie Watson, exceptional additions for Minnesota United.
No, you're right, Cal. It was a beautiful, beautiful transaction. It was a series of them that took place to be able to make this all happen. And unfortunately lose Mohamed Saeed and Josh Gadd, but to get something you got to give up something, and in this case they got Sam Cronin and Mark Birch. These are two guys that are going to challenge for starting spots the second they land here in the Twin Cities. Now, knowing Adrian Heath as well as I do, if you're winning and you're part of a winning 11 team, you're going to stay in the lineup. So that's a little bit of added pressure to the guys in the lineup tonight. They know if they can get the job done and pull out 3 points against a very good Real Salt Lake team, it increases their chances to stay in the lineup next week. Anything less than that, everything's fair game in training. So look for the team to be playing with a little bit of enthusiasm, and I expect an inspired performance out of the team tonight to go out and get 3 points, and a much-needed 3 points at that.
Alan Evening submerged in value for the Loons, seeking their first ever win in Major League Soccer. There are those who would say today could very well be that day. Well, it's safe to say there was an element of deja vu for Minnesota United in the opening stages of this game, Kendra.
Well, and it's one of those feelings, here we go again, right? A miscue maybe in the back. It looked like Calvo tried to make a play on a diving header there, but he's shuffling back to try to defend. And an early goal by Real Salt Lake, a team that has had a hard time scoring the entire season. But Minnesota United did not give up. Right on the transition, quick out of the back. Again, that was kind of a fumbled play, a couple missed touches, but they stayed with it, that persistence, and I love this header by Kevin Molino. That was just a beast move. Takes the contact, knows it's coming, runs over the defender. A beautiful header right over the fingertips of Nick Raimondo, and we have a 1-1 game.
The stats look like this. Minnesota United and Real Salt Lake level on shots. Minnesota with more shots on goal and bossing the possession as well.
And you know what, pretty much the tail of the tape here. I don't know that it really shows as much, aside from the slight possession and the fouls. But other than that, it seems pretty equal. We talked about how Real Salt Lake has struggled since the injury in the back to really possess and get forward. But at the same time, they have just as many shots as Minnesota United and one less shot on goal. And again, Bobby Shuttleworth had to come up with some tremendous saves to keep them off the board.
Jamie, your thoughts on that 45 minutes?
Yeah, the one thing that doesn't show up on that stat sheet there is the eye test. And what I mean by that is anybody in the building knows that after that first goal, and more specifically the injury to Aaron Mon, the game was turned upside down. Real Salt Lake was forced to switch into a formation in a backline that they probably never even practiced, let alone played the game with. I'm looking at their coach right now, Daryl Shore, interim head coach. What are you going to do? This is a form of adversity that you can't really expect when you've already got so many injuries at the center back position. How do you fix that? I cannot imagine for the life of me that they're going to come back out with the same back line, because if they do, if you're a Minnesota United player, you are licking your chops, because it's only a matter of time before you get an opportunity So keep an eye out on the changes that Real Salt Lake are going to do, because right now they're on the defensive. Minnesota United was attacking like crazy towards the end of the half. Look for them to do a little bit more of the same when they come out of the halftime break.
Yeah, Kendra, what are you saying if you're Adrian Heath at the moment to the teams in the locker room?
I'm thinking what Jamie Watson said in the first half. Do you switch Kevin Molino onto that other side and try to exploit the confusion in that right back and right center back area for Real Salt Lake unless they make a change defensively? Adrian Heath is a tactical magician, so I wouldn't be surprised if he makes something of one of those changes.
You're watching Major League Soccer from TCF Bank Stadium. At halftime, it's Minnesota United 1, Real Salt Lake 1. An inspired performance from Christian Ramirez and from Minnesota United. They had a help along the way as well from Nick Armando, but it is quite simply a momentous Minnesota day. Just look how much it means. Minnesota United off the mark, their first win in Major League Soccer, and it only gets better from here. Full time, Minnesota United 4, Real Salt Lake 2.